It's more like a long-term play also for your personal fulfillment that has nothing to do with like, oh, I'm making this short film because I want to get clients with it. But it's more like I do this because it's my passion. And then eventually I will get clients from it, correct?
The best works tend to come out from just passion projects, without involvement of money or clients. Sometimes it's just how the universe works. You make the best works when, there's no money involved. It's weird. Yeah.
All right, welcome everyone. Today I have an amazing guest here with me, Quek. He is an insanely talented creator. We're gonna see in a second why that is. However, Quek, please introduce yourself real quick. How long have you been making videos for and what do you do exactly?
Hello everyone on the channel. My name is Quek and I have been a commercial film director for about 13 years now. And only recently I've taken vertical contents and social media a little bit more seriously, which I believe will be some of the videos that kind of connected us from social media itself. So you can say that it's the other way around, where a lot of creators started creating by themselves before looking for, say, a client work. Whereas I come the other way around, where I train up in a production house from a production assistant. I work my ranks up in a traditional way. And only more recently, I've taken social media content more seriously because it has more creative freedom, where you can kind of do passion projects, do the things that you really like. So that has kind of led me towards this direction. Yep, that's how I ended up here.
Do you still do commercials though?
I still mainly do commercial stuff. I mean, that is still mainly my source of income. So I still mainly do client work. But recently, after the pandemic, the situation here in Malaysia has changed a little bit. From the links that we'll be talking about later, the commercials that are of the higher budget range are mainly festive commercials, because in Malaysia there's a lot of festivities, multiracial country, and clients used to spend a significant amount of money to kind of get the best ads during the time. Think of it like Super Bowl, but in Malaysian context. But that changed a little bit, and budget on that segment has shrunk quite significantly. Yeah, so that's what happened.
Interesting. When you say big money and you say you've been a commercial director for 13 years, now I'm curious, like what's kind of like the biggest project budget-wise that you've ever done?
The biggest budget one, I think it's about 1.4 million ringgit, which is about 400,000 USD. But
Wow.
of course, comparatively, it might sound very little to somebody and also sounds really a lot to somebody. But in Malaysian commercial, that would be one of the higher range budget stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's incredible. I mean, 400,000 USD is not a small production.
No, it's 70 people sometimes. Yes, it is.
70 people. Can you give us a little bit more context around the project? Like you just said 70 people, but what else was part of that project? Like what was the goal of it and where was it used?
Yeah. So as mentioned earlier, this usually happens during Hari Raya, which is Eid, which is the biggest festive celebration season in Malaysia. And due to the nature of how it's usually celebrated, families of say 20, 30 people always gather in their hometown, in the village, in the grandmother's house, grandmother's house usually. And with that itself, that involves a lot of basically talents, a lot of actors to be crammed inside the house itself. And to bring up the festivities, because this has been ongoing since the beginning of time, right? The festive acts. Every year, we try to do something that's more epic. So then the culture was to bring in more camera techniques. Like at a certain point, we bring in a more con before we tore down half of the house so that we can shoot sideways. And one of the commercial, we brought in like a fly cam. So we can show from inside the house, it just cracks out and we see all the festivities happening. And so it allows a middle ground, so to speak, because usually when you do commercial, it's very hard selling. It's always telling a certain USPs of a product. But when it comes to, say, festivities, there's also half of the clients might thinking, we just want to make the best commercial. We just want this to go viral, to reach out to as many people as possible, so that during the festive season, everybody's talking about our brand. So with those two combined, with clients that are government-linked, that has a healthier spend of budget, as well as this culture, I would say, during the festive season where clients and corporations compete to make the best ads, that gives us a platform where I very fortunately get the opportunity to play with certain executions sometimes. Yeah.
Got it. And how did you land such a project? I mean, It's not something that everybody gets. I mean, many people dream of getting a project like this, right? But how did you land that client?
Yeah, I mean, we have to go back 30 years where it starts in a very traditional way. This is at a time where there's still no YouTube or social media. So it's a chicken and egg thing where clients always ask for your show reel, and you are always looking to build a show reel with opportunities from the client. So I've been very fortunate in the sense that I've managed to do a few student work that got me hired into this production company, and the company has been very supportive when it comes to passion projects. How I actually landed my first gig, my first real commercial job was a combination of two things. One is a short film that I basically begged everybody to make because I was in the commercial production house. I work as an AD, an assistant director, where you get to know the crew and how the set is run. So with that, there's a pictures there. Then you get to start asking for help from all the different parties. And we made this short film. This is a very personal story. It's very storytelling. It's 40 minutes long. So we have that emotional storytelling short film that very fortunately got some accolades as well. And the other video was a video called Turn It Off. You can still see that in my Instagram page, which is labeled basically that short video that kick-started my career. Because basically I was so frustrated because doing line producer work at the time, and I know deep down, and I'm a creative. I cannot do management work. I'm terrible at it. So in order to break through and land jobs as a director, I need to show what I can do. So during my free time, which is late at night after working, I began to capture all these electrical appliances in the office and then edited it into kind of like a music piece using electrical sound. So it is with these two pieces, the short film and this reel. You call it a reel today, but back then it's just a short video that Eric Cruz, an executive creative director from Leo Burnett, saw these two pieces and thought, hey, this young guy has good range. Why don't we try him for this commercial that we're about to do, which is Samsung actually, is for a phone, the Note 1. So when the Note came out, it's a little bit unconventional. You get to take notes on it, and you can shoot pretty decent videos at the time with a bigger screen so that you can see more. So he wanted someone that has this good range to create something that is slightly unconventional. That's how I started film directing, I suppose, directing commercials. So with that, we evolved, and it is very fortunate that under the roster of Leo Burnett at the time, it includes Petronas. If you haven't heard of Petronas, it's basically Malaysian's fuel, oil and gas giant corporation. You might have seen that logo on F1, Lewis Hamilton driving.
Yeah.
Big company, and I get to do their festive ad, and that was the beginning of the run of the budget jobs. Yeah,
incredible. Do you, by any chance, do you have the link to that project? Because I would love to watch this right now.
I do. How do I send it to you?
Let's watch it.
Post it in your chat, is it?
You can send it to me in the Zoom chat, and then I'll pull it up on my end. Because I think anybody who's watching this right now, they're very curious now. They're like, oh, wait, I want to see this project, because we can talk about it as much as we want. Seeing it is always the best thing.
Send you in chat.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, this is not the early works. This is when I am more established, so that we can have a look at a healthier looking commercial. This is for Tenaga, which is General Electric, so to speak.
All right, let's see it.
Arif, bangun! Bangun cepat, tak elok tidur siang.
Hai, dah tiba masanya. Raya, aka seminggu tak ada privacy.
Mari tolong nenek alih pasu.
Hai, ya nek.
Sini sikit. Letak.
The funny thing is, I understand what they're saying without understanding what they're saying. That's how visually well it was done.
That's great. That's really great to hear. Because I was starting to worry about the language because this is very specific.
No, but it's very interesting. Let's watch it.
Dah sampai dah. Mak Ngah, powder, Abang Mat, jangan salah faham. Bukan tak suka sedara. Cuma bila raya, rumah memang havoc. Reda je lah. Cepat lalu. Sorry
So how was that to deal with that many actors? That's crazy.
I mean, it's just the actors is just one thing. We are also shooting in a traditional house where it's basically wooden built, right? So we are so afraid that the house could not take such a load, plus our camera equipment and all those things. We had to basically put scaffolding below the entire house just to support it. But it was a great experience. I mean, now looking back at it, just the introduction itself, yeah, it has been great times being able to make an ad with so many people in the same house itself. So it's more than just the filming crew, but also everybody that's involved in this project. I think they enjoyed it a lot, especially when the results came out. Everybody was really happy with it.
Crazy.
Rif, asal tak perlu aku kat IG?
Macam lah artis.
Tak ada lah. Dah dekat 3,000 dah ni.
Tak tanya pun. Silakan. Tak kisahlah kan barang orang. Sabar je lah. Rumah ni kalau hari biasa macam sempit. Padahal 6 orang je kot.
What I think is interesting is like this is a 4-minute video, right? Where did they distribute it? Was it social media back then, or where was that?
It's so this is the conundrum that we always face for Raya ads, for festive ads. We will make like a short content that is around 3 to 6 minutes, and that's distributed, as you can see here, YouTube, Facebook, and all the major platforms. But we also have to cut a 60 seconds version to be aired on TV because, of course, no one's going to be able to afford a 4-minute slot on TV. So it will be a TV slot that's 60 seconds, and sometimes we also make 15 cut downs, teasers to then link to the video. It's a whole campaign when it comes to this.
Interesting. And I mean, this got 14 million views. So it's like incredible the kind of reach it received, and also like 2,000 comments. So it's an incredible impact. How did the client react to the results?
We were really happy with this piece, to be honest. And since this piece, we have always been... This was the one that we felt that, we have something really great here that we wish to continue like for as long as we can. So from this itself, it really gave belief to the client to be assured that the money is well spent, because the quality of the production is there, the message is delivered in such finesse that it relates to the audience, and clearly people are enjoying it. So this is something that we should carry on. So that was good from this particular piece itself.
Very interesting. Let's continue here.
Apa ni? Ish. Tapi ajaibnya masa raya, walaupun ramai, semua boleh settle. Time makan pula. Mana senduk?
Puan carilah. Hai. Hoi, orang nak masak. Dia pula buat hal.
Kan dah kena. Time makan pula. Pinggan, mangkuk, perkakas, semua cukup. Lauk tak pernah habis. Meriah sungguh. Meja makan pun garanti muat. Ish, leceh hari ni. Tak apa. Nenek selalu kata, kalau asyik bergaduh, apa pun tak dapat. Sorry, Nek.
Jero.
Maaf, Nenek Jero dah panggil. Tengok tu, tak ada pula berebut tempat. TV dalam rumah, tapi yang duduk kat luar-luar tu, siap jiran sebelah pun boleh tengok.
That's a long pullback shot. That one was crazy. How many takes did it take to do that?
That was crazy. I think it was, we did 35 in total. That was the 30-second take.
Wow. That's crazy.
That was crazy.
And did you do it with like a gimbal attached to a bar, or how did you pull it off?
We use a fly cam, so there's actually a cable that runs from the wall itself to a truck outside of the house. We have to click the cable. And if I remember it correctly, I think it was 445 frames. So my online artist was like, "Oh my god, give me this job! Like, 60% of the time is spent on this one shot cleaning up that one long cable. So yeah,
That's incredible. It's a great shot. It's a really great shot.
Ni part paling favorite.
Tok Long dah sampai. Selamat Aidilfitri, macam-macam ragam di sana sini. Salah silap jangan disimpan, kita bersalaman bertukar.
Amboi Tok Long, tiap-tiap tahun makin style. Padahal tak pernah on time. Tapi kalau Tok Long tak ada, raya tak happening.
Masuk, masuk, masuk. Muat lagi.
Walaupun mencabar, bila ramai-ramai, seronok sebenarnya. Bila asyik belaga bahu, lagi meriah raya. Bukan rumah yang ajaib, tapi keluarga saya. River ke belakang ke kiri? Ke kiri ni?
Adik, macam mana ni? Awak tu ke tepi, mengalang tepi. Tepi.
Nice. Nice. That's amazing. And what was the cost of the production? I mean, the budget was around 400K, right? But how much?
Not this one. This one, I think it was around, convert to dollars, probably 120, 150K.
Okay, so this one 150, and how much costs did you incur with this project, and how much was actually profit of it?
I'm not aware of the actual number, but usually when we get a job like this and we produce it properly without any major issues, the profit margin is about 10%. 10 to 15 would be good. So if you take into consideration of the budget as mentioned, 10 to 15% of it, maybe 30,000 USD.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of the money is spent. 10% will be good. If you can make back 10%, will be good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And with social media content that you produce, or like with shorter form stuff that you do, is usually the profit margin higher than with a big commercial, or is it around the same?
Currently, social media content that I take, usually, of course, the return percentage will be a lot higher because when clients approach you as a content creator, what they usually expect is the way that you are creating, right? Whatever it is, a talking head introducing the product or a review, or edit it in a way. So that is sometimes done just in your home, at the table, with the camera that you already own, without any crew. And that will then allow, of course, a much higher percentage of return. But of course, the budget is a lot smaller. So that would be the give and take between two.
So what would you say? Would you prefer? Do you prefer the big commercials that have a very small return but a big budget, or do you prefer the social media content that you can do at home and just get a big return but lower budget?
It is a very interesting time to ask me this, because I've only been like a content creator for less than a year, and I've been writing for commercials for almost 13 years. Now, I do see benefits from both sides. If you're starting today, I would think to go through the content creation route will actually be more ideal than, say, going into the traditional route where you may have to spend 3, 4, 5 years just to get to direct something significant, because it all depends on luck and the connection and all those things. Whereas if you start as a content creator, you get to do what you love most from the beginning. And as you hone your craft to get better at what you do, then you attract clients to then come in and kind of give those things. But there's benefit from both sides. I feel there's no way, not yet at least, for a content creator of this scale, of a solo content creator, to then get the amount of profit that I get from the traditional commercial making. But then again, you have examples, people like Mr. Beast, who are totally just on social media making loads of money, So there is, of course, a path that I have not reached the level to be able to advise yet. But for now, my commercials are making a lot more money than my social media. And of course, it is something that I would love to balance, because I do get a lot more content freedom while creating on social media. So that's the current scenario.
Understood. Well, you've been crushing on social media with that Oppenheimer coffee video, right? This has like if I remember correctly, about 1 million likes on Instagram, or what crazy number?
Yeah, yes, it's over 1 million likes on Instagram, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you so much.
It's really amazing. And actually, let's watch this really quick together, because I have a couple questions about it. It's so amazing.
Sure.
Sharing my screen here again. It's so good. Like, it's so good. And the incredible part about it is, like, there's zero CGI, right? It's all practical.
It's all practical, yes.
Incredible.
That was the approach. I wanted to kind of have a little bit of practice on practical effects after watching the great Oppenheimer, of course, the great Christopher Nolan. After watching it, I get so inspired, like, okay, I need to practice a little bit on my practical effects. Yeah, so that's what inspired me to do that. Yeah.
I mean, how many views does the video have on social media?
How many? Sorry?
How many views? Because I know it has like 1 million likes, but how many people did actually see it?
I think it's 11 million on Instagram itself. And
wow.
Then,
wow.
It's really grateful.
And what kind of impact did that have on you? Like, did you get clients because of that? Or like, have people approached you, brands approached you?
Now, there are clients which are on the social media platform itself, but I think what is more amazing, so to speak, is you saw from the commercial that it is very localized, where I get to, of course, connect with my countrymen, but it's harder for me to reach a global audience. I mean, it is something like this where I get to connect with a lot of people, and I started to get people like official IMAX starts commenting on my page.
Wow.
People like Zach King himself started commenting on my page. You get noticed as a creator, like, oh, I belong to this bigger world, and I'm now more connected to the rest of the world, rather than just being in my own nation, making local festive ads. So it really opens up the world for me. And I think that experience itself, as a person who made commercials for very long, it is something that I'm really grateful for. And as a commercial maker, you can get really high budget, test out the best products, but in many ways, you are always producing or directing for somebody else. The film is never yours. It is for a certain client, telling the client's USP. So you don't get that sense of, you don't get the sense of that the project belongs to you. Whereas a video like this, even though it's heavily referenced, I'm not even using a music that I composed, because it is. And I'm taking ideas from some other great creators like Christopher Nolan. But when you make a project, when you put it out and people give a direct comment, you feel that they're talking to you. You feel that there's a direct connection between the audience and the creator itself. And that is a very important feeling, I think, as a creator, for you yourself motivated to keep going. And that is something that that videos like this have kind of given me. And it is something that I truly enjoy, and that's why I will keep doing it.
Makes sense.
Hopefully more clients will come, of course, yes.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's more like a long-term play also for your personal fulfillment that has nothing to do with like, oh, I'm making this short film because I want to get clients with it, but it's more like I do this because it's my passion, and then eventually I will get clients from it, correct?
Yeah,
beautiful.
And the best works tend to come out from just passion projects, without involvement of money or clients. Sometimes it's just how the universe works. You make the best works when, there's no money involved. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Has that always been your strategy also to get clients, is like improve your skills, or did you also like pretty much improve your skills and just get connections and kind of like get lucky to get projects? Or did you also reach out to clients, reach out to companies to get work in the past?
in the past, most of the time, it's more the earlier part where, we produce a certain work and it gets noticed and clients starts approaching the creative agencies. We then appoint, require us to pitch. You still have to go through a pitch, and that's how I usually get the projects that I got. It's less about the later. We rarely approach any clients so far, actually. Yeah, rarely.
Yeah, it's just your work that speaks for itself.
In a way, you can put it like that. In a way, yes.
Nice. So my audience, or our audience, consists of many creators that are, in a position where they're struggling to make a living off of it. They would love to do it full time. I don't know if you know the statistics, but only the top 10% of all US-based videographers make more than $10,000 a month. So like 90% of videographers make less than that, content creators. So I'm thinking, you in your position, like what kind of inspirational words maybe, or share little knowledge would you give to somebody who is in a position where they want to make a living out of it, but they struggle to do so? They're in that cave trying to get out of it, trying to get out of the hamster wheel, but they can't. Like, what kind of inspiration do you have for these people?
This will then require the other way of wiring. No matter what, even though you're making content, you're fulfilling your soul, so to speak, but it is also important to overlap this with what the world needs. And you can only get paid. Getting money is a transaction between a service transaction. I'm providing something to you, you give me money in return. So if you're a videographer, and of course, a film director, a content creator, there is always something that you want to make, right? But there is also a big part of your focus or your game that is advisable if you cater this to client servicing. Being a film director is only, I would say 40% making the film. There's a bit that is about communications, thinking on the client's behalf. What does the client want to achieve? What is their messaging? And try to tell it through their perspective. Because ultimately, that is what makes the transaction. That is the transaction between you, the creator, and the client. They are paying you to tell what they want to say. I have been born and raised, so to speak, in the commercial world, but I've also seen a lot of content creators, videographers. They are a little bit too adamant on what is right and their taste. And I respect that. I mean, we all should respect that. It's your art. But in a way, what gives money, it has nothing to do with art sometimes. It has nothing to do with what you like to do sometimes. It's a matter of helping someone else tell what they want to say. And in that sense, opportunities are always there. Of course, say if you start as a wedding videographer or doing certain things that is a format that you temporarily just want to adapt and to move on to something else, I think that's fair. But I think you should be open to any kind of opportunity that kind of brings in a healthier budget. Because with the healthy budget, it will motivate you further. It will give you the sense that, all right, I belong in this filmmaking industry. There's a place for me. There's a path to grow. And oftentimes, a person gets into this industry with a set mind. I want to be a film director. I want to be a director of photography. But they end up doing other things, which I think is something that we should be more open to. I have never imagined myself shooting vertical content. A guy from a traditional background, I make commercials or horizontal content. I made movies, shooting 24 frames in 235 format to adopt into 9:16. To many of people, it's blasphemy and all that. But to me, that is what the world needs right now. So many people are watching content on their phones. And without this vertical content that you see here, we would not have been connected. So there are certain forces that we cannot fight. And if we need to take those steps to make the money or to get rich, to get noticed, especially at the beginning of the career, it is still better to just obey the game first. Obey to the game first. And then once we have, amass a certain healthy amount of money and, recognition, people start to notice your work, then kind of bend it towards what you like more. I would think that's my advice, because it's the game is something that a single player cannot change. It's a collective thing, and somehow we're all playing this same game and trying to get enough points to be able to live a living and at the same time do what we love. So that would be my advice, I suppose.
Very wise, very wise. Thank you for sharing. Where can people find you online? Like, where can they see your work?
See my work actually is across all platforms under my handle Quek Shio, that's Quekshio. But
Also linked in the description below.
those will be my social media page. But for the highlighted commercials, they can look at my story highlights. They will link you to YouTube to then view one of the longer content. Most of them are in Malay language, but you will get a few that is they have subtitles that is English sub. Those are the longer contents, yeah. Including a movie. Including a movie, yes.
Amazing. Quek, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been an amazing interview, and I believe it will inspire a lot of people. Yeah, thanks for taking the time and thanks for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Inspires you and shows you that this is possible for you too. I mean, Leonidas was literally going from a 9-to-5 to now running his video business full-time and closing $44,000 video deals. This is absolutely insane, but possible for you too. How? Well, just check out this free video training that I recorded for you. It's absolutely free. We'll see each other on the other side.